Well, we got a lot going on today. Just a ton to tell you about. There's that story. There's a story that that comes out of the Dallas, Texas area, where this kid comes in. They're at a track meet, and he's a kid sitting, where he's not supposed to sit. He's sitting underneath a tent where only the people who are on the track team are supposed to sit. So a member of the track team and his brother come in, and they say, "Hey, dude, you got to move. This is just for the track team." And he says, "I'm not moving." And he's like, "Dude, you got to move. This is where the track team sits." There's an exchange. All of a sudden, he says, "Hey, you try to move me, and you'll see what's happening." He pulls a knife. He stabs the kid in the chest, just from 0 to 60. Just stabs him in the chest. He dies in his brother's arms. Okay, this is an open and shut case. This is really quite simple. Witnesses were there. Everybody knows exactly what's going on. However, there is a Dallas-based defund the police activist and social justice leader that is now involved with the family. And there was a press conference yesterday, and I want you to hear what this social justice leader said.
And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family.
Hey, stop. So what is he talking about here? What is this press conference about? I thought this press conference was to defend the kid that stabbed the other kid for no reason. Well, no, it turned in because the kid whose son had died showed up at the press conference. And he's excoriated for showing up. You weren't invited. Who are you? Get out. Who are you to show up here? It is wholly inappropriate. You know you're not supposed to be around this family. Excuse me? I'm sorry. What? Now, let me tell you who this guy is. He's the guy, he has been trying to, rally a defense for Karmelo Anthony. That's the teenager. He's 17 years old. He's already gotten his bail reduced by a great deal. And he said, "Hey, I want to sincerely thank everybody for the overwhelming support you've shown. This is just the beginning of a long legal journey, and we'll continue to stand strong in defense of his rights." Okay, he has rights, but how are you defending him just stabbing another kid? When he hosted the press conference, disrespect for the dignity. Disrespect. His dad shows up to the press conference uninvited. It was disrespectful and just shows all of you the character. The character of what? The character of the dad showing up? Yeah. I mean, I would think I would show up. I want my son's killer to go to jail. I might show up. So it goes viral, and that's when everybody online starts to be a little detective, and they find out some things about him. This guy's X and his Facebook account reveal that he's played a pivotal role in helping mobilize on behalf of Cori Bush's winning campaigns in 2020 and 2022. Bush praised Alexander and his group for their perseverance and dedication, and their commitment to this work is just unmatched. Okay. In 2021, Alexander said it was truly an honor to join Bush as she was sworn into Congress. So this guy that held the press conference and said that just shows the character of the dead boy's dad. Chose a photo. We have a photo now of her, Cori Bush, and Alexander at her swearing in. So he attends her swearing in. This is going to get good. Hang on, buckle up. He said, "I had the honor of seeing history in the making by seeing this beautiful black queen, Cori Bush, elected to Congress." I don't know if you know this. We don't have queens. So anyway, he says in another post, he said, "I am so proud of her as an actual frontline protester. We saw her yesterday sacrifice for millions facing eviction in America, our movement, our congresswoman. Okay, so she's part of the standing up for the eviction of, millions facing eviction. They were here illegally. He goes on, he does all kinds of pro-Bush posts. He then says in a 2024 post, we live in a country that doesn't want to address white supremacy. He wants reparations, yada. So you're getting to know who he is, right? You know he's a radical revolutionary. But wait, this time there's more. Apparently, he's also a career criminal. NBC5 here in Dallas reported that he had an arrest warrant in 2019. Arrest warrant affidavit stated that Alexander's longtime partner had reported to police that he had shoved her and tried to strangle her. Now, she declined after she called police to file charges because the police, you can't trust the police. Oh, okay. All right. He also served 2 days in jail after pleading guilty to a felony theft case in 2021. Remember, that's just a couple of years ago. After 4 years of this hanging over my head, I decided to avoid a jury trial in Trump County that wouldn't have given me a fair shot at all. Okay. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison, also for repeatedly violating his probation. 2009, a local report details how Alexander was arrested for allegedly causing serious head injuries to his then girlfriend's 2-year-old son while he was babysitting. So now we're getting into abuse, babysitting a child. 2 years old. He takes this kid into the hospital. He says, no, Mom and I and the baby were on the couch, and he just rolled off the couch. Unfortunately, the doctor said, yeah, that's not possible. We're looking at the injuries here. And this is trauma and more consistent with abusive head trauma and child physical abuse. Okay, so we got that going for us as well. Not long after he was arrested for injury to a child causing severe bodily harm, he got into trouble for forging a check, leading police on a high-speed chase, stealing a car, and then claiming that his car that was stolen was his car. And it wasn't his car, it was a stolen car. Anyway, so he brought a couple of character witnesses with him to trial. Didn't work out well. One of them had just met him, and the other one didn't have any idea that he was on probation or breaking his probation. The judge is like, and he broke his... No, I didn't know that. He never told me that. He's been in trouble? Yeah. So he's got all kinds of other things, like he praises Louis Farrakhan. And if you see in that press meeting, you see the guy with a bow tie, that's Louis Farrakhan's people. And so, he's supported the Nation of Islam, despite the comments that Jews are termites and they're wicked termites. I mean, I don't know what kind of other termites you have. I mean, other than wicked termites. But I generally don't praise Louis Farrakhan and those kinds of comments, but he does. Okay, so that's what we have going on in Dallas. Notice how dark things are getting. Okay, notice what people are standing up for. They're standing up to burn down Tesla. They're standing up to defend the guy who killed the healthcare CEO and saying, well, it was kind of justified, really, because, I'll tell you how violent things are. Violent, health insurance is violence right now, so don't talk to me about violence. Okay, all right. So we have that going for us. We also have people that are refusing to speak out against any kind of violence on their side, including the burning down of Teslas, the hassling of Tesla owners, the doxing of people, and the killing of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. We showed you yesterday, it's over 50% now if you're on the left. Even if you say you're slightly liberal, it's over 50% of that population believes that it is fine to kill Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Okay. Last night I found another story. This is an op-ed. This is one, last night when I read it, I sent it directly to Kash Patel. Said, FBI might want to investigate this one. Wait till I read it to you. Next. In the last 3 years, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the U.S. dollar has lost over 16% of its purchasing power. Let that sink in. Over the last 3 years, you have lost 16 cents on every dollar of your purchasing power. That's kind of a big slip. Meanwhile, since 2000, gold is up over 600%. Why? Because they're correlated. When the dollar loses value, gold gains value. So why isn't everybody hedging with gold right now? I don't know. I think because most people think, well, I don't have enough money. You've got enough money for silver. If you have any savings, you just take 10% of that. Whatever you have, I don't care what it is. I would recommend, and don't take my advice. I'm not a legal, some sort of financial advisor. But I know I have 10% until I lost it in the lake accident with all the guns and all my food storage and everything else. But if you have any kind of savings, please, gold up over 600% since 2000. And look at it now. It's over 3,000. It's like $3,300. Remember when it was just going to break 2,000? That was, last year? Year before? I mean, it's been 18 months. We're now $3,300. Please protect what's yours. Call 800-957-GOLD. 800-957-GOLD. Get your free $4,200 gold report. Call 800-957-GOLD. Do it now. 10 seconds. Station ID. All right. Now, I want to read something by Nicholas Decker. The story on Substack is When We Must Kill Them. Evil has come to America. The present administration is engaged in barbarism. It has arbitrarily imprisoned its opponents, revoked the visas of thousands of students, imposed taxes on us without our consent, and seeks to destroy the institution which opposes it. Its leaders have threatened those who produce unfavorable coverage and suggested that their license be revoked. It has deprived us, in many cases, of trial by jury. It has subjected us to jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution, and it has transported us beyond seas to be imprisoned for pretend offenses. It has scorned the orders of the courts, and it threatens to alter fundamentally our form of government. It has pardoned its thugs and extorted the lawyers who defended its opponents. Unbelievable. If these actions become normal, the government could arrest anyone and deport them to prison in foreign land without any hope of redress and for no reason. It is nothing less than the total abdication of the rule of law in this country. There is no guard or protection against it. If this theory prevails, then it is the end of America as a free nation. Now, first of all, if you were saying this maybe 4 years ago, you might have some credibility. Because I can look at both sides and say, hey, there's some real things that are disturbing here, but you have no credibility on this. None. And your conclusion is disturbing, even if it were all true. I do not wish for this essay to be a mere catalog of outrages. The conduct of this present administration is well known to you as it is by myself and can be understood by any sensible person. On it, no further comment is ventured. What remains for us is to decide when we fight. If the present administration wills it, it could sweep away the courts, it could sweep away democracy, it could sweep away freedom. Again, where were you 4 years ago? Protest is useful only insofar as it can affect action. Our words might sway the hearts of men, but not the beasts. If the present administration chooses this course, then the question of the day can be settled not with legislation, but with blood and iron. In short, we all must now decide when we must kill them. None of us wish for war, but if the present administration wishes to destroy the nation, I would accept war rather than see it perish. I hope you would choose the same. But what to do? The rot of our present administration runs deeper than one man. The sacrifice of a hero is insufficient to save our nation, and a gust of wind on a summer day would not have saved us. For let us make no mistake, the problem is not one man, but a whole class of people. If one head is cut off, the other will take its place. Violence only makes sense as part of a coordinated strategy. This is why protests are important, not as a way of changing the present administration's actions, but as a way to coordinate a group. There may come a time when we shall have no guarantee of freedom, but the one which we make for ourselves. If it comes, I tell you there is no greater honor than he who lays down his life for his friends. Until then, we must wait. And when is that time? Well, your threshold may differ from mine, but you have to have one. If the present administration should cancel elections, if it should engage in fraud in the electoral process, if it should suppress the speech of its opponents, jail its political adversaries, if it ignores the will of Congress, if it should directly spurn the orders of the court, all of these are reasons for revolution. It may be the best to stave off and wait for elections to throw out this scourge, but if we should threaten the ability to remove it, we shall have no choice. We will have to do the right thing. We will have to prepare ourselves to die. I hope that we should conduct ourselves first with such courage that it will be our finest hour. I expect that we shall do our duty. While we wait, we must not be like sheep to the slaughter. We cannot cooperate. We must hide those who are persecuted. We must foil the aims of their agents. The state and local governments, which we control, can litigate the actions of the present administration. Their police can refuse to share information or be deputized to do the work of the evil ones. If war is politics by other means, then politics is war by other means. There can be no surrender, for surrender means oppression of us all. These are exceptional times. We have not faced such a threat in many, many years. I wish it had not come. It is the sorrow of the world that these times have come, and we shall have to bring woe unto those whom it came. The future is not certain. It may be the present administration should flinch and turn back in the face of lighter action. I fondly hope that may be the case, but if it comes, we must awaken from this ignorant dream. This evil will not pass without blood, sweat, and toil and tears. So harden your hearts and prepare to die. Like I said, I sent that one to the FBI when I saw it yesterday. That's from the left. If anybody is, any comments? Anyone? Bueller, anybody? Any comments on who we're dealing with? Again, let me go back. The activist I just told you about that is defending a kid that for no reason stabbed another kid to death in the bleachers in front of witnesses. You have Taylor Lorenz refusing to condemn Luigi Mangione. We are witnessing a transformation of the left now. We are not seeing just these far right or far left radicals in Portland. They are starting to seep through everywhere. And Democrats, you must distance yourself from them. You must distance yourself.
This is Glenn Beck.
You know, a really important thing to learn when you're buying or selling a home, your real estate agent matters, like a lot. A great agent is going to fight for your price, negotiate like a pro, and know exactly how to time the market. A bad one, they're going to smile a lot while you lose a lot of money. That's why I started Real Estate Agents I Trust. I wanted a network of agents who aren't just in it for the commission. I wanted people who live by the values that I believe in: honesty, service, accountability. Those who have actually been vetted for their performance and their best practices. I started working with the 500 best real estate agents in the country, according to the Wall Street Journal, and I learned what makes them the best. And then we started looking for more of those people. Whether you're moving across town or across the country, we'll connect you with somebody who knows your market inside and out. And we just don't recommend, we vet these people 6 ways to Sunday. If we don't have somebody in your area, we're not just going to recommend somebody because it matters. We have a huge, probably a 10,000 person waiting list of people, but we want to make sure we keep this number small enough so we can monitor every single transaction and make sure it's a great experience for you. realestateagentsitrust.com. That's realestateagentsitrust.com.
Subscribe to blazetv.com/Glenn. Use the code Glenn and save $30 off your annual subscription to Blaze TV.
Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. It's Friday.
Terrifying essay to start off a Friday, Glenn.
Yeah, I know. Were you shocked by that when I read that?
Yes, yes and no.
Okay, in case you just joined us, I just read an essay by Nicholas Decker. I want people to know who he is, Substack. And he writes about how, the title of the essay is, When Must We Kill Them? When must we kill them? Well, I don't know. Not anywhere.
I'm thinking not at
close
all.
to now.
Yeah, right.
Not even close. Not even close during the last administration.
No, I'm shocked by the essay. Obviously, although after talking about the killer of the United Healthcare CEO and the reaction on the left, you mentioned it there. I won't mention his name. I think we should implement the same policy we have on mass shooters with this guy. He's turning into a freaking cult hero on the left, and I refuse to give him any more attention. But that attitude is this attitude, right? Like the line for Taylor Lorenz just happens to be killing some innocent father and husband in the middle of the street for no reason. But the line for the left is clear. It's clear that it's closer than it should be, and I think there's a lot of people on the left who think this way. We saw it sometimes with the climate crazy people on that. We've seen it over and over and over again, and you've been very, very clear, as we all have, I think, around here, that we're nowhere close to that line. Just because you don't like Donald Trump, just because you think he's a bad president, or you think he does things that are mean, we're nowhere close to that line. No, because you think the climate and its 1 degree of warming over 100 years is really, really dangerous. That we're nowhere close to that line. And because you think United Healthcare occasionally, says no to a claim that you believe should be covered. No, that's also not a reason. And the same thing goes, by the way, for the previous administration. Yeah. I couldn't stand Joe Biden. How many times, Glenn, people were so sick of hearing me rant about the student loan unconstitutionality.
Completely
unconstitutional.
The taking of Donald Trump and trying to throw him in jail every step of the way. Just so unbelievably un-American. Just crazy corruption.
Absolutely.
But did we say that it was time to go out and even think? Did we ever say, when do we kill them?
No. In fact, you held that line very, very strongly, because
I know
there
our
is
history.
Understandable anger on both sides, right? Like if you were on the left right now and you saw a lot of the things that we really like that the Donald Trump is doing on the right, you'd be very frustrated. And there were times where, some people on social media and, people on the right got angry and said things like that. That said that the line that you just talked about in that essay is closer than we should all think it is. And over and over again, you were very consistent that no, it's not. Think about what the founders had to deal with.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's not even close.
No.
And look, one of the things, generally speaking, I still have my complaints, but the student loan thing was a big thing. I was really, really angry about it. Generally speaking, the courts got that right and reversed him and stopped him. We do have a system. Another part of that system was, by the way, Joe Biden / Kamala Harris losing.
Yes.
That's part of the system too.
Yes.
And a really, really important part of it. And so this stuff should be rejected. It's not all that important that we reject that essay. What is important is that there are people on the left that do it today and tomorrow and this week.
Yes.
And I don't know that we'll see it. I'm concerned.
We're not going to. We are not going to.
I hope we do.
No, we won't.
I really hope we do.
I hope so too.
I think when you saw Elizabeth Warren's reaction to the United Healthcare CEO's murder, it was like, yeah, but healthcare. That was her reaction to an innocent father and husband getting murdered in the streets. Yeah, but I mean, come on, guys, healthcare. It is pretty bad. I mean, look. We can all talk about, and we have for years. We've complained about the healthcare system in many, many ways, though I think a lot of people complain about it more than is justified. That being said, it's never a reason to go. I don't care what a company does to you. You don't go and you murder the CEO. No.
And here's
thou
what's
shalt
disturbing.
not's pretty clear.
Yeah, this is so very dangerous, and I'm bringing it up today because this has to be policed by the left. This has to be. If I had said any of those things, one paragraph of that 2-page opinion piece, if I would have said or written one paragraph and released that, I would have lost my job. And probably rightfully so. I would have lost my job. And the media and the left would have ensured it. That wouldn't have been right. But, people saying, Glenn, you're off the deep end here. That's the right thing. That's the right way to respond. They're not even going to say anything about this. And it's because it's becoming a culture of death. And that's what happens when you reject eternal principles. When you take God out, you will have another God. And that God, whether it's the planet or the government or just you and your grievance, whatever your God becomes, ends justify the means. There's only really one God that says, no, turn the other cheek. There's one. It's Easter weekend. It's Good Friday. They killed that guy. They said he was a revolutionary. No, he was a revolutionary in a totally different way. He was a revolutionary exactly the way Martin Luther King was a revolutionary. He came and was preaching peace. Now, the difference between him and Martin Luther King, well, there's a lot of them, but one of them is this guy was actually the savior of all mankind. He came for our sins. But if we forget who we are, there's a great op-ed on The Blaze, Exodus Warns Us, by Aaron Wexler. After miracles, people forget. Listen to this. And check this. Don't just hear the words, but actually apply them to today. After miracles, the people still forget. The same amnesia that happened with the Jews now threatens America's soul unless we chose to just let it go by. Passover has just ended, a central story for the Jews and Christians alike, but also the defining narrative for America. What? How? America's founders drew heavily from the Exodus and the Hebrew prophets. They studied Hebrew. Some even proposed it as the official language of the United States. Did you know that? Benjamin Franklin, for his part, suggested that the national seal feature Moses crossing the parted Red Sea. The reverence for this story runs deep in our DNA. It's no accident that Hollywood, the most American of art forms, has returned to it again and again and again to retell the Exodus story. And yet, as a nation, we let some of our oldest traditions fade. But that's nothing new. God always finds a way to remind us. Today, many Americans have begun to realize we needed the pain of 2020. See, this is one of the difference between knowing God and not knowing God or rejecting God. If you believe in God and you believe he's a God of good, you know then, A, I'm saved no matter what happens to me, my body, this is more important. My soul is much more important than anything my body is going through. Okay, that's number one. The other thing is, you know that it's all for his good. He doesn't lose. So I may not experience the good part of it, but I know he wins. I know good wins in the end. That changes everything. 2020. We could have just, whined and bitched and moaned the whole time. I'm not whining and bitching and moaning as much because I've realized, again, because of 2020, that actually turned out good. You may not get your way, but he usually gets his one way or another. Without that nightmare, President Trump wouldn't have returned with a mandate to truly save America. Without those 4 bitter years, the country might never have wakened to remember who we are. This moment echoes the Exodus. Just as we needed 4 years of national affliction to witness Trump's political deliverance, the Israelites needed to see God's hand to remember his power. That's why Scripture says God hardened the Pharaoh's heart, not only to punish Egypt, but to remind his people of the unmatched might. Where have you heard recently anything like God hardened Pharaoh's heart? It was the last line of that essay I just read to you. So harden your hearts. What kind of advice is that? Now, if it's done by God, okay, I don't get it, but okay. Harden your hearts? Soften your heart. He wanted to remind people of his unmatched might, to declare for all to see that there is none like unto the Lord our God. And yet, even after the 10 plagues and the miraculous escape, the Israelites forgot and faltered. Jewish tradition teaches that only 1 in 5 left Egypt. Think of that. Think of that. Only 1 in 5, 20%, the tipping point. Only 20% that were slaves decided to leave. The rest felt more comfortable in slavery. They didn't want to do the hard thing. So only 1 in 5 left slavery. The rest chose the false comfort of slavery. Many who did leave lost faith before stepping into the Red Sea. Others bowed before the golden calf while Moses ascended Sinai. Even in the face of miracles, it was easier for some to forget God than to trust him. Americans had forgotten God before 2020, and God gave them a hard reminder. So ask yourself, if we forget who we are, what else have we forgotten? Look again to the story of Passover. The book of Exodus begins with a chilling line. There arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not of Joseph. It wasn't just that Pharaoh forgot Joseph. He chose not to know him. He chose not to acknowledge Joseph because it would have meant acknowledging the Israelites and all they had done for Egypt. Joseph saved the Egyptians from famine. His descendants helped build up the nation. Pharaoh wanted to erase them. He enslaved them. Think again of what's happening today. There's rising up among us a king that is saying, forget the Hebrews. Forget the Jews. They don't want to recognize anything that the Jews did to help build us as a people, as a faith, and as a nation. So they're trying to do what Pharaoh did and erase them. He ordered their sons drown in the Nile. But not everyone forgot. Pharaoh's own daughter remembered. She rescued Moses, one who would lead the Israelites out of Egypt, receive the 10 Commandments at Sinai, and pass down a faith that would eventually give birth to Christianity. That's something worth remembering. We rightly see Pharaoh as the villain of Exodus, but how many of us stop to honor the quiet heroism of the Pharaoh's daughter? She saved Moses when it was unpopular, even dangerous to do so. She defied her father's command, choosing righteousness over convenience. Her courage made everything that followed possible. Christians have long understood the wisdom of Romans. If the root is holy, so are the branches. Like that olive tree, we must guard the roots and grow strong branches. We must first remember. So remember who we are. Americans are a good people who remember God. And like Pharaoh's daughter, when we remember Joseph, even when the world forgets, like the Israelites, we walk away from slavery into the unknown, trusting the God who will deliver us. We are those people. Pray that we remember and don't forget. It's a great op-ed piece. You can find it at theblaze.com. So you're standing in the grocery store staring at the shrink-wrap steak that looks like it was printed by a 3D meat printer. And you think, is this even really from a cow? But it's labeled product of the USA. But in tiny print, it also says, may include beef from multiple countries. That's what you're feeding to your family. No thanks. That's why you should switch to Good Ranchers and leave the grocery store meat behind. This is real meat from real American farms delivered right to your door. 100% born, raised, and processed in the U.S. And the taste? Let's just say the steak from the store is a sad imposter. Good Ranchers beef, chicken, pork, whatever your order, fish, it's the real deal, and it's absolutely delicious. Plus, when you subscribe, you're ordering a product that was made here, and you're basically ensuring that your meats are tariff-free. You don't need the mystery meat in your life. You need Good Ranchers. Go get it. Taste the difference. GoodRanchers.com. Subscribe and get your choice of protein for a year and stand with American farmers and ranchers. GoodRanchers.com. GoodRanchers.com. American meat delivered.
Common sense ain't common anymore, is it? Time to wake up and wrangle the sheep. Glenn Beck continues next.
Let me ask you something that most people never even think about. When you invest your money, do you know what it's actually supporting? And I'm not just talking about performance or returns, which are very important, certainly. But I'm also talking about values, because when your portfolio is packed, with all sorts of stuff that a Wall Street firm wants you to be packed with, there's a good chance your money is being used to fund causes you'd never voluntarily support. Talking about ESG mandates and corporate activism and radical social agendas and things that quietly chip away at everything you believe in. You'd never write a check to fund that stuff. But if you've got investments with the wrong people, you probably already are. And that's why I want to tell you about Constitution Wealth. This is a firm built for people just like you, people who care about faith and family, freedom, financial integrity. They don't just grow your money, which of course they do that as well, but they also help you aim your money to the right direction. Constitution Wealth works with you to create a portfolio that reflects your beliefs, a portfolio that grows your wealth without compromising your values. Seems like a simple concept. One that invests in businesses that respect liberty and biblical principles and personal responsibility. Not one's trying to deconstruct them all the time. Every dollar you invest is a vote. So the question is, what are you voting for? Constitution Wealth helps you answer that with clarity. They bring transparency to every investment so you know what's doing and you know when it gets there. Take action now. Visit constitutionwealth.com/blaze. Sign up, constitutionwealth.com/blaze.
Oh, man. Keith Olbermann, I don't know if even people remember who he is, but he used to be on MSNBC years ago. And I think he was a sportscaster for a while. Now he's just a sad guy. It's really sad. But yesterday we posted something about me talking about, how Harvard received $20 billion from the government since its founding. And, we probably shouldn't do that. He responded yesterday, goes towards education, Glenn, what you gave up on when you were 10, and the absence of which provides you with an audience and an income. Keith, I don't think that's the dig that you really intend. I mean, wow, you're so undereducated, it makes people like you and pay you money. Okay.
And what are they doing with him these days?
Yeah, what are they doing with you?
Neither liking or paying.
He went to a Ivy League prep school and then right to Cornell, which is... it's Ivy League, but not really.
On the
it's
fringes
kind
of it.
Yeah.